Okay, so I'm doing just a quick unboxing video of my brand new addition to the collection, Amazing Spider-Man 300. A CGC graded copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300. I bought one last month, or a little over a month ago, and it turned out to be messed up inside the CGC case. So I had to return it. So I did that unboxing video and put it up and everything so you can see that, but I did wind up returning that copy. Anyways, so it seems packed okay. That other copy that I bought, I'll say real quick. I did a separate video about why I was returning it. It was damaged inside the CGC case, but the case itself wasn't cracked or anything. So I did a video about that. Anyways, but about the packing on this one, it didn't feel like it was well packed when I first picked up the box off the porch. And this side is pretty good. You've got like the bubble wrap plus another layer of thinner bubble wrap, but this side, the edge of the case, is like right. I mean, there's no bubbles protecting that edge right there, or this whole edge basically in the corner. There's a tiny bit of bubble wrap. This side, a lot better protected, but that corner not protected. That corner not protected. You know, all it would have took was the mailman just doing this number, and it could have cracked it. So we'll see. Or it could have shifted, and it also could have shifted the comic inside the CGC holder and damaged it inside the holder. That's what happened to the last one I had. Anyways, let's see what we got. The guy that I bought it from, he does have a return policy, so if there's any problems, you know, I'll definitely get my money back. So it's all good. It's all good. But it just amazes me how people pack things so inadequately, you know? Especially a comic like this. I mean, if it was me, I would have put a lot more stuff in there just to be safe. But let's see. I'm gonna pick the camera up in a second. I just wanna get a first look for myself real quick. The grader's note said light spine creasing and a crease to the bottom right cover. It didn't say bottom right corner, it just said bottom right cover. And in the pictures it was basically impossible to see. I mean, it was impossible to see where the crease was and how bad it was and stuff. And it didn't say, in the grader's notes, it didn't say that it was a color breaking crease, but it actually is. I can see right here that it does slightly break color, but it's not real bad. There was a color breaking crease on the last issue that I bought on the back side, right here. That it looked a lot worse than that one, actually. And being on the front here with the colors, it actually hides it a little better than that on the back side. Anyway, so let's get the camera over here and let you guys take a look at it. See, there is it's an 8.5, by the way, white pages, and it's let's go over the good stuff first. it's well centered. Yeah, pretty good centering. I think it might be a touch off. See how the bottom left of the Spider-Man box looks like it might be slightly this way miswrapped, a little bit that way. And you can see on the price box how if you come at it straight on like this, you can see how the black at the top of the price box gets a little thinner toward the bottom. So yeah, it's slightly off center by maybe half a millimeter. That's okay. Plus you got the classic problem of the 300s that even though it's not miscut, let me see. No, it is not miscut. But even though, it's the weirdest thing. I'm gonna do a whole video about this particular subject separately from this video. But just a quick thing about it is look at the cover itself is, like I said, it's maybe half a millimeter off miswrapped, you know, just a tiny bit. But that is not enough to account for one of these zeros. Look at the one at the top and how where the donut hole in the center is at the edge of the paper, and then you go all the way down here, and that is way over. That's like half a centimeter maybe. So why are the 300 and that's a pretty big, you know, shift from the top to bottom of those 300s. Like I said, maybe about half a centimeter. Then how come these 3s over here aren't going half a centimeter off the edge? I mean, they're a little bit different. See at the top here, you got a little bit of a black gap between the 3 and the edge of the spine. Then you go down and they get a little bit closer to the edge of the spine, a tiny bit. But I think that's just because of the miswrap. If not for the miswrap, those 300s would be perfectly straight. But then how do these zeros get so crooked over here? And if you'll look at a lot of these online, you know, all the different ones for sale, you'll see all sorts of different combinations of the way those 300s are crooked, this way, that way, up, down. But the rest of the picture is straight somehow, you know. So anyways, but yeah, I like the centering and everything. And the reverse side looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of I don't know if that really counts as, I don't know what you call that, when it's not really spine curl, but you get that kind of a thing right there where the pages are a little bit, you know, down. Let me see if it does the same thing on bottom. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't with these copper age. Whoops, okay. I'm trying to focus here, hold on. Well, it's hard to capture with the camera, but it actually goes a little bit up instead of down, so I guess that's maybe just some, I guess it's just miscut a tiny bit on the back side of the cover, I guess, because none of the pages look like they're, well, no, they kind of do look like they're also moved, like there's a slight slant to the pages instead of being straight flat. Anyways, but yeah, it looks pretty good. But I saw that in the picture, so I was expecting that. But yeah, the spine creasing on the back side looks like what I had hoped for.
It's there, but none of it's color breaking. At least not that I can see. Tiny little bit here and there, but just barely. Overall, pretty nice, man. I think the worst spot for the spine creasing is right there. Yeah, let's see, where is that? Is that right at the staple hole, or looks like it's a little below it actually. Let me see if I can get it in the light a little better. Yeah. See. Yeah, the worst one is just below the staple. There's a little bit of color break at that bottom staple. Come on, focus. There we go. Where it goes into the paper, but it looks worse on camera. Yeah. And the bottom one, bottom staple, let's see. Looks pretty good. A little bit of color break above the staple, right there, just under the webs. But that's the worst of it. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Let's see. This was the spot that I had trouble with on my last one. It had gone up underneath the inner well. And this one's trying to do the same thing. If you look over here, it's just under that lip of the inner well, just underneath it, but it's touching it. But this one looks like it's, can't tell if it's bent or no, it's not. Well, maybe a tiny bit, but I'm gonna crack this thing out anyways. I bet you anything if I put a backing board underneath between the cover and the pages, or maybe a few sheets of copy paper, and then put it in the press, it would straighten that right out. It's starting to curve down just a little bit from hitting the lip of that inner well, but it didn't dent it. Yeah, to me that's a design flaw. It looks like it dented it. You can see a little bit of a shadow there, but I don't think that's from the case. I'll inspect it further after the video, and I don't think so. I think it's just an optical illusion of the camera. When I look at it around the camera, it doesn't look the same. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it did get moved in the case though, and well, actually there's not much room for this thing to move around. See how it comes, the bottom of it comes right up to the edge of the inner well right there, so there's not much wiggle room for these copper edges, I guess. I don't do a lot of CGC buying, so I'm not familiar with which ones fit differently and better and all that, and how much room they have inside these things and stuff. But yeah, there's really not much room for that thing to wiggle around, man. Yeah, if it was dropped on its head like that, or on the bottom, I guess too, it can push it up underneath that lip and go in between the two pieces of plastic on the inside that's sandwiched together, you know, on that inner well. And it can really mess up your comic. It can go up underneath there on the inside and smush it and dent it. That little corner right there especially can put a serious dent, like right there. So in my opinion, that's sort of a design, it's a pretty major design flaw. I mean, why doesn't it just go straight across the whole way? That way, I mean, when it curves right there, it gives it a point of access, you know, that I think if it just went straight across instead of coming up like that, that it would be a lot harder for the comic to get pushed underneath it. Anyways, like I said, that's what happened to the last copy that I had, and that's why I returned it. But this one looks good to go. 8.5 white pages. Nice. I don't see any problems with this one. I like it. Well, I mean, it's an 8.5, so it has problems, but beyond the flaws that I expected it to have, I don't see anything I don't like about it up close. So I will be doing a separate video on cracking this bad boy out. And that's that. Thanks for watching.